So what I'd like to see is just on your own, everybody, including you at home. I can X-ray vision through the camera. I promise I can. Show me, just do a few of your double dragons leap from C. Either side, both sides, however you want to do it. I just kind of want to take a look and see how we're doing. Change anything and move it usually 3 inches that way, a little bit wider. Yeah, it looks excellent. Okay. 30 seconds or so, because I made a correction. You're like, I just did the thing.
I feel like that's always the problem I have with the step forward. I feel like it's always a little bit too slow.
And that's Kung Fu.
Yeah.
And Chen, because Chen has got weird, it's not the same. You got to find your shoulder width. Yeah. Yeah. So common thing. I bet you're dealing with it too. You got to find your shoulder width. What is your shoulder width? So I'm going to read from the book too, but a couple of things first. How do you find your shoulder width? Start from shoulder width as best you can. 2 things tend to happen. People overestimate and they think they've got Schwarzenegger shoulders and they start from here. That's not shoulder width. My shoulders are here. So shoulder width is usually a lot narrower than maybe you think that it is. But the other thing that happens is when you step forward, you actually bring your foot in a little bit. So it's worth practicing, and you will get it. So I turn this foot out, and then I step forward, still in that alignment, without kind of crossing it in. And if you've heard me talk about it in the moving form, the empty hand form, you will have a good shot of knowing if your shoulder width, if your hips can stay basically square. Because if I'm too narrow, they're over here. And if I do this, this feels really weird, and it puts torque on my knee, and I feel twisty, and I lose my tuck. So if you're able, and same thing, if I'm too wide, and I square my hips, I'm in a bow stance. I'm not facing this way anymore. So that's a good test to just get comfortable with. Turn the toes out, round the knees, step forward, push. Are my hips mostly square? I mean, it's not going to be rigid, but it's Tai Chi, mostly square. So that's how you kind of find it and keep it. All right, so let me see my greatest hits of double dragons leap from C. So I'm going to show it from the front, and I'm going to show it from the side. There's not as much shifting back and forward as you think that there is. There is some. I'll show you from the side. But it's a folding and opening more than it's a front and back. Stop that. So I'm going to fold down. I keep it here. It's very easy to end up kind of going sideways or straddled here. It's here. And then I down and up. Another thing to look out for is shifting on an angle. And what that means is I go here and I go here. I'm exaggerating it, but you kind of, instead of going forward and back, you wiggle out of it by going diagonally. So it's more of a hip tilt than a forward back. So I saw this a little bit with Mr. Loomis. Not calling out names, I'm just like, I saw it, I saw it. This isn't like, and it's wrong. It's more like, I see, here's, no, yes. So, and I'll show these from the side, but, so I'm down, keeping my tuck, keeping this knee out, and I'm up. Now let's see, hopefully, if I'm doing this correctly, the other thing is, in a perfect world, my pelvis should be level when I get to the bottom. So, and this is what we're going to work on in a second. are you're here or you're here, but you don't know that you're here. So that takes some proprioceptive input from an instructor to be like, this is level, and you'll be like, no. But hopefully you can also see, I am shifting back a little bit, but not that much. So like my center here doesn't move. You know, it's not here and here. It's a little bit back, and a big fold, a little bit up, and a little bit forward as I come up. Thinking of substantial and insubstantial helps you a lot with this. I'll switch legs here for a second, so that when I'm here, I push with the back leg, like more than tell myself fold and bend with the upper body. I start the movement, I push off with that front leg, and I start to transfer the weight to the back leg. So I fold down. I'm thinking between these legs more than I am about what I'm doing with my upper body. And then to start the up, I push off, I pump the weight with this leg, and start to transfer it to the front leg to come up.
So you don't go down quite as far as I was. I was thinking it was down here.
You know, I mean,
Doesn't matter?
I'm also in teaching mode right now, so let's see. You know, if I were doing this for me, that would be, well, because right now I want to keep my tuck.
Right.
And if I lose my tuck, I can go a lot farther. If I
Right.
keep my tuck, this is probably about as far as I can go to keep my pelvis level, my head suspended, keep my tuck, keep my rounded out. If my stance were bigger, that would take me a little lower. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay.
Military.
Military.
Yes, sir, ma'am.
I get it.
Been there.
No problem. All right, so do a few more, and I'm going to read from the book. So many words here, so you don't try to follow along. Just do and keep an ear open for the brain input. Let's see. Stand with the feet positioned as in the photograph. That's not helpful. It's double dragon's foot placement. And the hands on the hips. We don't start with the hands on the hips, but that's okay. The right leg should be forward and with, oh, so he's already in his, he's not doing the stretch. So when you're in your double dragon's foot placement, before you begin, it should be 70% of the weight in the front leg and 30%, 70% on the front and 30 on the back. Concentrate on the heels and outer edges of the feet. Maintain a tucked in pelvis. Your breathing should be relaxed and continuous and deep. Locating a point about 2 inches below the navel, push the body backward with your finger, gradually shifting the weight towards the back leg as you bend the torso forward and downward. Exhale deeply while sinking back. Continue with the deep breathing. So basically he's trying to show you that it's your dantian, your center, that's pivoting back and forward. Place the left hand on the left knee and gently push it outward and backward to line up with the toes. Caution, bending the knees inward towards the center of the body can be harmful. Once you're down, about 70% of your weight should be on your back leg. Avoid the tendency to shift the pelvis laterally towards the left. That's what we're talking about. So you want to keep it in a straight line, not in a diagonal. The pelvis should be centered between the feet throughout this exercise, whether in the forward or rearward position. Grasp the right ankle with the right hand and slowly stretch the tendons. Oh, he's just now getting the stretch. Look at him go. With the arms, so now that you're at the bottom, with the arms chest concave, arms held in a rounded shape, and the fingers slightly stretched, slowly push forward off the heel of the back leg. Inhale deeply while you shift forward, maintaining a tucked in pelvis.
So in the stretch,
Uh-huh.
you're trying to actually still keep your hips straight.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. So, and his notes here, and this really is key, throughout this exercise, the hips should face forward parallel to the ground. So they're forward and parallel to the ground. So I'm going to come around in a second and do some pelvis adjusting here. When performed properly, the push should feel solid and powerful as it employs the entire body in an integrated propulsion. There will be a continuous linkage from the heels to the fingertips. So, all right. Show me your double dragons here. Okay, you ready? And then I twisted it here. There you go. Down a little bit more with this hip. Yep. I told you, weird, right?
Oh, yeah.
That is not possibly level, but that is level. All right. Ready?
I'm ready. Oh,
Yep.
oh,
There we go.
what are you doing to me?
I'm leveling your pelvis. And it's pretty good, but that's. Good, you kept it. Very good. Very good. You got it. At home, did you hear that? No! No! So there's little anatomy talk. There's different kinds of motor neurons, of neurons of perception. Proprioception are the type of neurons that tell you where your body is in space, which is why when they have like sobriety tests, they have you do this, because it's one of the first things that goes is your understanding of where your body parts are in space. So proprioceptively, it's a really weird scenario when you think your pelvis is level, and then someone like me or senior head instructor Fig or Mr. Gohring comes around and goes, that's level. You're like, no, it's not. I have just messed with your proprioceptive neurons. So that's why a mirror can be helpful with this, or ask one of us to go like, are my hips level? Are they? And I promise you they will get level. Like everybody, including myself, goes through the no way. You know, so you'll learn to train your body as to what that feels like.
Well, it makes sense. Before, when I was on level, I didn't have to worry about my knee being out.
Yes.
So when you twisted me, it's like that's where they're
Yes.
saying to make sure.
Yes. Yes. Very good.
Now I can kind of like, okay, if I'm not having to check my knee, I'm not level.
Very good. See, so she's the sleeper cell here because she's got a 2nd degree black sash in Kung Fu. So she's.
That just makes her confused in this case.
That's good though. Otherwise I'd be like,
All right. Yeah, let's bow out. I don't remember which life skill it is. Any last questions before we bow out? It's snake. Yes. Anything else? So major takeaways: shoulder width apart, fold from your center, push with the feet to generate the movement, and keep a level, a square and parallel to the floor pelvis.
Twist them a lot more than you think you should.
Yeah, in varying directions, because one direction is not the same as everybody, so, yeah. Anyway, so if you have any questions, email us, send us a video, we'll correct, we'll do whatever we can, and we'll see you in class on Thursday. All right, snake. The path of self-mastery requires persistent action. Persistent action achieves the goal without quitting. Path of self-mastery requires persistent action. Persistent action achieves the goal without quitting. Path of self-mastery requires persistent action. Persistent action achieves the